August 13th, 2016. A couple of interesting things this weekend. One is what's called the Fast of Tisha B'Av. It began tonight, this evening in Israel. Many call it the 9th of Av, and it says the nation of Israel began marking the Fast of Tisha B'Av at sunset this evening. The fast on the 9th day of the month of Av commemorates tragic events in the nation's history that occurred on this date. This includes the destruction of both temples, the destruction of the city of Beitar and Bat Kuchba revolt in the 2nd century, and the expulsion from Spain. Guys, a lot more has happened than just that, but I want to make this point. This was a punishment by God for his people disobeying him. We see a lot of that in this time. And guys, I know that we're talking about Jerusalem, but Israel was scattered across this planet. 10 tribes over the Caucasus Mountains, they were called Caucasians. 2 tribes remained. So God, why did he scatter them? One was to protect them. The other was to put them in places that he knew Satan would spread his new world order so his warriors would be also worldwide. As a matter of fact, 10 of the 12 tribes were scattered. And we see all 12 tribes in certain ways very disobedient right now, to have turned their back. Now, you also had on this day the mass deportation of Jews from the Warsaw Ghetto to the Treblinka death camp, 42 on this day. And in 2005, the Jews of Gush Katif spent their last legal day in their homes. They were expelled 3 days later. Homes were bulldozed, but 20 synagogues were handed over to the Palestinian Authority, and within minutes were up in flames. Now, that area, along with the rest of Gaza, became a terrorist-controlled launching pad for thousands of missiles and rockets aimed at Israeli civilians, leading to 3 IDF operations, a thorn in the side. But the first temple was destroyed due to the sins of idol worship, murder, and immorality. The second temple fell due to the senseless hatred of one Jew for another. Any of that sound familiar? Another interesting thing that could be thrown in here, guys, because of the date. You're looking at the Georgia Guidstones. These were put up around 1980, if I'm not mistaken, but just a few years ago they put this block in. The notch was already there. It's a 6 by 6 by 6. The notch was in the wall between the English wall and the Spanish wall. Does that sound familiar? Wall between the two. A lot of stuff on here, but one of them is it wants to maintain humanity at 500 million or 1/2 billion people, guys. We're probably close to 8 billion. You're talking about a lot of people. Now, they don't say directly they're going to do it, but the plan is to bring about World War III. And let humanity basically destroy itself. Now, that slot was filled, I think it may have been in 2014, with this block. Nobody knows who put it in there, but it had a date. It's got 16, 20, 8, and 14. Many people thought it was 2014 in August. But in September, this happened, and it was taken from a cell phone of just some visitors on this. It's just a little spot in the middle of a cow field. This fellow pulled up in a truck. Police officer was there, extended his ladder, chipped out the stone, and threw it on the ground. You're seeing a guy pick it up and look at it. They turned it around. We'll kind of look at those images, and I'll link to a video where it's clearer on the video than just these steels. But no one had seen all of that except the people that made the stone and possibly the installer, if they weren't one and the same. But so no one knew that what was on the top and bottom and on the back side of this thing. But the date, again, it's got the numbers 20, 16, 8, and 14, which tomorrow is that date. That's why I just wanted to bring it up in the video. On the top were the letters MM. You can see 14 there on this edge. And on the bottom was the letters JAM, as in jam. There's been a lot of speculation on what those meant. There's the other side, JAM. See that? And then MM. I don't know all the different things, but you've got 20 here. Again, we'll turn it around and look at it. But the Guidestone information is built by the stone builders, the masons. that the people involved with doing it and financing it, even though they don't really have a name, history does kind of point to a few people, and the local people there believe that it was someone in their area that had this done. But again, this Georgia Guidestone, guys, it lines up with all the solstices, North Star, very interesting. But if you turn it, it's just one cube, but this is turned and to see all sides. You have 20 on that side, 14 there, 8 and 16, then the top and bottom with the lettering there. But you also have 2016, 814. Nothing really occurred on that day, and like I said, the next month, September, you saw this guy throw that stone out. There's, again, speculation about it, and what I want to do in a full video about the Georgia Guidestone is start from the very basic point in history, because there's been so much information brought out about it. Some is very good. Some you don't know, but to try to kind of clear all the fog and just look at it from the beginning and realize who that is possibly tied to it. And the meaning, I think it's not a warning of what they're going to do. I think it's speculation on what's going to happen after they're created World War III. This one image, notice again, 6 inches by 6 inches. They're saying that JAM means clock and or time in Indonesia and Malay. Indonesia is the largest Muslim country. Then it's the Kaaba is relating to space or physical location, XYZ. The symbol for space is a cube, and they're mentioning that there. Again, I haven't went into detail on the JAM and the MM. It could be the initials of whoever did it, because both of those were hidden, bottom and top. It was interesting the slot was left. Another interesting thing that it was filled, and I think 2014, guys, it didn't stay long, and it was like the symbolic closing of the wall between the U.S. and Mexico, and then the opening of the wall. Just had to throw that in. It's kind of amazing. But many of you know this, but you've got on the 4 different walls, each side has a different language. Now, the north wall pointed towards the North Star is the English and Spanish wall. You have Russian, Chinese, Arabic, Hebrew, Sanskrit, Hindu, Swahili. You have on the top stone, that square one, a phrase basically talking about the New World Order in Babylonian, Classical Greek, Egyptian hieroglyphics, and in Sanskrit, guys. There's a hole in that center tower that points straight to the North Star because it's a pretty stable area of the sky. There's a slot in the top that points to noon at each day. They say it allows a calendar to be used on that center stone to tell you the exact day, although there are no encryptions at this point there. Been a lot of vandalism out on it, but it's amazing. It's just right in the middle of a cow field, guys, on a little back road up in that county. But this is how it was initially. And on the English wall, it says keep the population under 500 million or 1/2 billion. Then you see the capstone there with the cuneiform. It goes on to talk about different things on that stone. You can we'll check that out, and I'll have the information there. But it talks about really population control, birth control, things like that. I want to put that in the detailed history of it. Many of you already know it, but the key thing to me that I got from it was that not saying that they will directly like attack the world's population and cull it down to 500 million. It's that this World War III brought about by the same people, possibly, that will do it for them. Now, when the guy threw this thing out, he climbed down off the ladder and destroyed this final block in that wall. Again, there were this same video the lady was taking on her cell phone. There were police there. It's just, I don't know why he was there, because during the winter and all, there's no one there. It's just a little hedgerow around it and cattle field all on the other side of that. But it seemed to be perfectly okay. But when he chipped it, the lady doing the video and others there asked for pieces of it, and 16 is one of the chips. Completely destroyed that blocking stone, that completion of that wall. Don't know if it was because the original builders did not put it there, but they did wait till after the supposed August 14th, 2014 day, August 16th, 2014 day, to take it out. But I want to go into the history, even back during the construction in 1980. Some of the people they believe that are behind it, to remember the guy signed the information and paid for it under the name of R.C. Christian. Some say it was the local banker there. They're all, have the Masonic ties and things like that. We'll go back into the actual, I think this was called the Pyramid Quarry there in Georgia. And you're seeing the actual cutting of one of the pieces that they're using there. It was all local. The stones are there. It's interesting, very interesting when you go back and actually look at the involvement and of who's behind it possibly, and the ties. But this image also is of a local banker, Wyatt Morton, as he inspects the English lettering with Sandblaster Charlie Camp before the 1980 unveiling. Now, this is in a large town, but they're very tight, very close there. I think one preacher even talked about this is a satanic message, which many believe it is, and his church didn't last long. I think they asked him to leave. But this Wayne Martin, many believe that he may be R.C. Christian. I have no way to prove that. It's just what they think, and his involvement in the inspection, the helping with the financing, I think, things like that. We'll look more into that in the historical video about it. And by doing it like that, we can kind of clear the air, guys, on thousands of videos that cloud it. Like I said, there's a lot of good information, but sometimes it's better to start from the beginning on your research and find out for yourselves. Now, this is a chart of the survivors of this culling down to 500 million. The purple are the people that are gone or dead, the culling, and then the small chart there, the surviving. They talk about saving the planet, ecology. We're all for that. We're all for less destruction and things like that. But it's basically an elitist survival set up for this generation. But they want to bring in the Luciferian doctrine. They think that will be their God. They don't believe in our God, and they think that he will win the war. It won't happen. Guys, on this date, also tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central, I'm going to call in Paul Beckley's live show. Now, you click on the TV radio button there on his website under the yellow arrow, and it will take you to the link for the live show there. He's also YouTube and several other places. Go to the website, check it out. Many of you have seen a lot of his shows. And I'll tell you this, over the last 3 to 4 years, when him and I had the chance to talk on the radio, some of the best information of current events, both from the Earth and from space, have come about. We've talked about many things. It should be an interesting show, guys. I'll see you there. It's a heads up. Be safe.